Can you hear me? Stop. Stop it. You're scaring me.
Welcome to the party, pal.
You're scarier than half of the movies on this list.
Movies on this.
All the movies on this list.
Say that's the one thing. These aren't scary, but
They aren't scary.
okay.
They're okay.
They're okay. Hold on, I'm gonna run and grab the ranking list because that's on a separate piece of paper.
Okay. I'll entertain the masses somehow. Just kidding. You're bored now.
I have too many papers.
It's okay. I need to drink some water.
Why do you have an industrial jug of water?
It's only $8 at Walmart.
Buy one?
I did just for that gag. Please.
Well, now I'm like, this is sad.
It's still big.
Next time I'm gonna just have to like get like a whole like water bottle.
Bring it in. Oh gosh.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There we go.
The podcast between us, the Loomer Brothers. I'm Preston Loomer.
I'm Nathan Loomer.
And we talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't. And if you missed our last episode, we did the old Universal Monster movies. And so as an update, we now are doing the new Universal Monster movies. Or the unaffiliated movies featuring the same monsters as the Universal Monster movies.
Yeah.
Because I think only 2 of these are actual remakes, and then the rest are like, because all the properties are in the public domain, they're sort of adjacent to or inspired by or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just grab it and go.
So the movies that we watched were, for this list, Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, The Wolfman from 2010, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from I think it was 96, The Mummy from 1999, The Phantom of the Opera from 2004, The 2020 Invisible Man, and The Shape of Water, which doesn't have another movie with that same name.
Yep.
And Van Helsing, because it includes like half the monsters in the movie.
Yes.
Keep it at 8. So 8 movies. And this is how this one's going to work because it's a little different. As I said last week, we stole this from a group called the Top 10 Podcast. They're great. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. Basically what they do is they make a big old ranking list separately, come together, and then make a final ranking. We're doing a very similar thing. So we have both watched these and ranked them separately. We don't know what the other person did. This could be a disaster. And then at the end of the podcast, we have to fight each other to figure out what the final ranking is. And if you haven't seen our last episode, I'll put a link to it in the thingy. It'll be, you know, somewhere around here. And if you're not watching this and listening to this, then it's in the spot where all the links go. Cool. So we're going to start at the bottom.
Yes.
Like last time.
How are we deciding who goes first?
I have the handy dandy
Oh boy.
fancy coin.
My luck has not been good on this.
Fine. You won one. And that's how it goes.
Okay.
All right, call it.
So, okay, tails.
It's tails.
So does that mean you go first?
You go first.
Means I go first. Okay, good. At number 8, I got Frankenstein, 1994.
Same one.
Yeah, that movie is awful.
So if you missed last week, Frankenstein ended up winning the whole thing. And this week, it's going to lose the whole thing. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed by Sir Kenneth Branagh. Featuring performances from the likes of John Cleese, Helena Bonham Carter, that guy from Amadeus, whose name right now. Ian Holm is in this movie. Robert De Niro is the creature. Like, what is that casting? And you'd hear all those names on paper and go, that's probably okay.
It'd be a good movie.
It's not.
I've never heard of this film until you told me to watch it, which is a problem.
For the record, this one covers both Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes.
Like big, long epics. There are a couple things in this that I like. One, I like that they made Victor a surgeon.
Yes.
It made more sense why put bodies together. He's like good at that.
Yes.
And I actually really liked Helena Bonham Carter in this.
Hmm.
Otherwise,
I didn't mind Robert De Niro. I didn't love him. I
yeah,
didn't hate him.
it was a
I
weird
just
choice.
I didn't like Kinnan. I didn't like Kenneth Brought. It's Victor. It's just he's so over the top.
Brana has the same problem that Laurence Olivier has, where if it's a Shakespeare thing, they're fantastic. If it's anything else, they are at best mediocre.
Yes.
Like, I have not seen a non-Shakespeare Kenneth Branagh movie except Chamber of Secrets.
Yes. That's what I was gonna bring up.
Secrets, he's playing himself. He was basically famous for mimicking another person.
Oh my god.
Point in I was reading back on my notes and I saw this as Meryl Streep's Frankenstein, and now that's all I want.
That's all I wanted.
If Hollywood's listening, make Meryl Streep Frankenstein. I don't care if she's the creature or the doctor, just do it. Let her play both at the same time.
Good.
I also said that I was pointing out, one, this is how you can tell this movie is written by a dude and directed by a dude. No woman in her right mind would try to have sex with her corset still on her body. And my wife said that to me too. She's like,
Oh,
would come off first.
I didn't even catch that. Oh my god.
Surprisingly feminist in the moment that when the bride is created and being forced to choose between the asshole who made her and the asshole who told him to make her so he could have love, she burns herself and jumps out a window.
It's a game changer.
That's that, ladies. You don't have to choose. There's another alternative.
And then I went on IMDb after watching this and saw it had one Oscar nomination, and I was like, for what? And then it's makeup.
Yeah.
That it makes a lot of sense. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like that's actually really good.
Creature makeup's real subtle, and it doesn't feel like out there. It's like that looks like what I would expect like a person who got stitched back together more or less to look like.
Yeah. It's just not very memorable. I would say it's not iconic.
They don't explain why he's the Hulk.
Yeah.
Dude who suddenly like wasn't super powered in the past life, but now that he's dead and come back, he's like able to just throw people through walls and burn down all kinds of things with his hands and shit. Yeah, there's a whole thing. It plays like a biopic. Like every biopic I've ever seen plays like this movie, where you have the 25-minute origin that we don't care about because we don't need to know where he came from because it doesn't get interesting until he doesn't make the monster, I think, until good God, it's 35 minutes in this movie.
It's so long.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing I wrote down was too long.
Yeah, and the thing that I think that this movie and every other movie who's adapted the story of Frankenstein tries and fails to do really is it's not a horror film. It's a science fiction morality tale.
Yeah.
And they try to make it scary, and it's not scary. There's like jump scares in this when it's not even at the part where the monster exists. And I'm like, what is this? Is that bit where they're out in the ice and they can see the thing coming?
Oh yeah.
Not any taller than anybody else.
I just don't know. It was such a cluster. It felt it's like so much.
I don't know why I did it on this. Every time somebody did a stunt, I wrote stunts. We have a stunt count. If there's stunts in the movie.
Yeah.
In this movie. Yeah, and the other thing that just doesn't I never figured out what it was trying to say. Like the other one kind of said don't play God. This said don't play God. Well, you could play him a little.
A little bit.
Don't. Well, okay, if you do, just accept that you screwed up. No, well. And by the end of it, it's just, and I think it was trying to be too true to the book is the issue. And I read that the guy who wrote the screenplay actually really hated it.
Oh God.
Really small, subtle, like people talking kind of like this to each other a lot. And Kenneth Branagh just made everybody shout everything.
I would. Oh.
And then at the end of the movie, I wrote that happened.
That happened. I don't know, and it is hard because, of course, you go into any one of these movies that's a remake and compare it to the first one. When thinking about it and now watching it again twice, the original, it's it's got a perfect length. The everything builds right.
Everything in the first one, I think it's because they cut out the second half of the story and said
Yeah.
that in another movie. And this one said, "Now we're gonna do them both." Like I learned that the bride isn't created in this one until about 10 minutes before the end of the film.
Oh yeah, it was close.
They go to the ice. Frankenstein dies. End of movie. It's like that.
He didn't need it then.
Oh, by the way, this also happened, which I think is a little different in the book. I haven't read it I didn't read it since high school, so I have to go reread it. But my wife was like, "I don't think that happens," and I was like, "Yeah, probably not." Cool. I don't have any other thoughts. I mean, it's there's a shot in it that's like I'm pretty sure shot in the same set as The Sound of Music.
No gosh.
I can say is Meryl Streep's Frankenstein needs to happen.
Well, she's in that, and I have a lot more respect for Helena Bonham Carter.
I think she's underrated. I've always thought she was better than she seems to be. Like,
Yeah.
all right, there we go. My number 8 was also Frankenstein. So now we go to number 7. I put Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh, you put that really low compared to me.
I did. What'd you put 7?
I put it 7. I put The Invisible Man.
Ooh, that's okay. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll start with Phantom because that's how we do. Let me find it. Find my Phantom notes. I watched them in the same order that I watched the other ones in. Oh, I have to remember how I did it. Phantom of the Opera, 2004, based on the musical from the 80s, directed by Joel Schumacher, who, you know, is most famous for The Lost Boys and those 2 not so great Batman movies.
Yeah.
It has Gerard Butler as the Phantom, Emmy Rossum as Christine, and Patrick Wilson as Raoul, and then a whole bunch of other people, Minnie Driver's in this movie. There's a few other people that I can't remember off the top of my head what their names are.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the musical start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've watched, I went to go watch like, you know, a bootleg of the actual musical and said it's actually fairly close to the movie that I remember.
Pretty close. They have the whole thing. I really like the intro in this movie where they do the black and white like flash forward and then they like show the desolate, like destroyed, decrepit theater, and then during the overture they like push back in time and rebuild it back to its like glory day.
Yeah. Like
I told my wife by the end of the movie, I was like, if I have to hear Angel Music and Masquerade one more time.
Okay. That is just my problem with Lord Webber's music in general. All his musicals, too much of the same stuff.
It's the same 12 songs. Like
Joseph and Technicolor Dreamcoat is just the same song rehashed.
the same issue I have with Les Mis and the parts that
Yeah.
is like, oh my gosh, if you don't like these themes, you hear them a lot.
Luckily, I think those are a lot better than.
I think Phantom's one of those interesting ones because when it's on, it's really on, but when it's like really hard to watch. And they did this interesting. I mean, the casting in this one, I will say, Patrick Wilson is the best singer in this movie, hands down. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
actually sing. Gerard Butler's a weird choice.
It's weird. I don't hate it at times.
Yeah.
I do hate how they wrote the character for the musical a lot of the time, though.
After the Russell Crowe, Javert, and Les Mis came out, I was like, okay, Gerard Butler gets a pass now. He's no longer the worst casting option for a movie musical. And Emmy is good, but she's not like super opera soprano.
No.
One of those women I think who can hit the notes but doesn't actually sing enough to.
Yeah, and that's where I think I wrote that the 2 lead actors, they could have got just somebody who were more musically talented, which is not that hard.
They always do with the celebrity casting in these things. They can always choose, like, do you get somebody who has the skill and the talent and the not to like knock them because they're not bad, but did you get, you know, do you go with an unknown who can blow you out of the water, or do you go with somebody who's a little established? Which is interesting because neither one of them was sued. This is like the first thing that either one of them got really famous off of, but they'd been in other stuff.
Yeah.
This one tries to be a lot darker, I think, than any version I've seen before of this story, which is interesting. Like you would think that this is like something called
The fun.
the opera is dark, but this one somehow takes it to a new level. But it has some weird. It just has some weird theatricality stuff that I think works well on the stage, but doesn't work in the show in the movie.
Yeah, I'll never care about the thing falling, or the chandelier falling, unless I'm in the theater.
It's so much cooler to see it. Like I can't even imagine what it's like live to watch that thing come crashing to the ground. This one also this I've noted both Phantom movies we watch have horses in weird spots. The other one had the ones on the stage, and this one has that weird horse that just happens to be in the dungeon, and you never see again after the Phantom.
Right. Oh God.
I also think that this movie is the origin story for OSHA, which is the stage, the like shop stage safety guys.
Oh yeah.
I was watching this incident go down. I was like, we need to regulate the safety
Safety for God.
a little more.
We should check for dungeons in our theater.
Surprise dungeon. And then there's just some interesting things. One, I always imagined Prima Donna was faster than it is in this, and it bothered me. And I don't know if I just imagined it differently, but I'm like, this song is too slow.
Yeah, I will say though, even though Patrick Wilson might be the best singer, I've seen this movie I think 3 or 4 times now. I never remember a single thing he does.
Nope.
Raul is such a lame character.
Added the like keep your hand up by your face thing, and then quit.
Yeah.
And then he gets tied up, and it's like they told
you gotta do the thing.
Yeah, I did that. He was walking down to the dungeon though. He's like shredding clothes, and I was like, "Is Raul getting naked? Does he want to kill the Phantom, or does he want the Phantom?" The true conflict in this story.
Oh, that's it.
And I'm sitting here going, as soon as I say that, somebody's out there like, yeah, there's a version where Raul and the Phantom are in love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not in the sequel though, which I also have now seen. I watched it after I watched this finally.
Yeah, love never is that Love Never Dies?
Yeah, no, it never dies. Which just don't watch.
Just
The first one's fine.
watch Phantom. Here's the thing: Phantom is a 14-year-old who's never seen a musical before. His favorite musical.
Yeah, watch the I think it's the 25th anniversary.
Royal Albert.
That's the only one.
Is that the one with
Like,
as the Phantom?
yeah, I think so. And Sierra Boggess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two are fantastic in this. Yeah, the other thing that drives me nuts every time, I've seen it like 4 times now, obviously, is that his mask is about this big.
Yeah.
But when he takes it off, his face is screwed up everywhere. His hair changes.
Yeah, I noticed that this time.
And we were watching it this time because I watched it with Jess, and she was like, "Is he getting more scarred?" This scene, like every time they cut back to him for about a minute after the mask comes off, he's got more stuff on his face. They just like do the makeup in between the shots. It was just one of those days where like we have to put the shots in, just put as much as you can on.
I really think so, because when he has the mask on, it doesn't even look. I wish there was a slight hint. It's just his face. I can tell it's just his face. He's got nothing on.
It's Jess said it's the Prince Zuko burn.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh.
That's it. I'm going to shut down my Discord because it is going crazy right now.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Everybody, 30 people being like, blah, 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 blah. No, I think stunts. Movie has stunts.
A lot of stunts as well.
You bet. Yeah, and I like Minnie Driver as Carlotta, even though she's not singing her own stuff. I think she's acting the crap out of that role, and she's just having the most fun.
I didn't know she wasn't singing it.
No, she's the only person in the movie who's not singing their own.
Oh, I had no idea.
They said that she can sing fine, but not the way that Carlotta needs to, just
That makes sense.
that stuff that she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't hate it, but I just think I have enough issue with it that the other ones I had fewer issues with.
Yeah.
So that's why it's near the bottom for me. Any other Phantom thoughts?
Sing. Nothing.
The musical. We have to do our favorite song.
Oh, favorite song. I like. Okay, It's the part where the Phantom's listening in on Christine and Raoul sing together.
Is that all of you?
So it's kind of Think of Me, but it's the Phantom's part.
Oh yeah, okay. I like Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again in the graveyard. I think that's the one scene in the movie that doesn't feel like too much.
That makes sense.
So here's my hot take, and you can answer: is Andrew Lloyd Webber the Nickelback of Broadway composers?
I can't think of anyone else, so I gotta say yes.
You heard it here first, folks.
And I'm a guy who likes Starlight Express, so
I like a lot. I actually like a lot of Lloyd Webber stuff. I just think that they all sound the same.
Yes.
I feel like you could take any of his incidental little songs in these things and switch them, and nobody would know.
Nope.
You'd be like, "That's weird. Why is Jesus singing about music?" It's fine. It's whatever. Yeah. But no, I liken it to Nickelback because like they're not bad.
No.
What they're doing, they're weirdly hated by a lot of people.
Yes.
But the people who love them love them.
If I was in New York and one of them was on Broadway at the time, I'd have to go see it. Like there is a
Well, Phantom's always on Broadway, so
yeah.
I mean, for now, we know you got another 6 months to go before any of them are open again.
Yeah.
Phantom. I was the only guy in my tour group when I was in New York who was like, nah. I went and saw Addams Family.
See, and that closed down really quick. So you're like one of the few people.
Yeah, I know. I had like an hour by myself afterwards to kill.
Oh my gosh.
So I win.
That's it.
Cool. Let's go.
Okay. It's my turn.
Invisible Man.
Okay, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt first. I love the first scene of this movie. No dialogue. You know exactly why she's trying to get out, and there is tension. The rest of the movie does not.
So the first thing, this is the second time I saw it. And I said, I call that first scene the clinch butt hour.
Yeah.
You're just like, you are like holding. You were like, oh my gosh. And
it's really good.
It's like the best parts of A Quiet Place where any noise like freaks you out and you're like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Yeah, and then at the end when he comes flying out to the car and like slams through the window. Yeah. But I think the thing with this movie, I realize, is you don't want to think of it as a horror film. You need to think of it as a science fiction thriller.
Yeah.
Because the problem for me is once they reveal the trick that he's using, it's not scary anymore.
It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's something with technology. Like that's the same with the new Chucky, where I'm like, it's just a thing. Like I don't know what it is.
It doesn't have the like malicious intent of the old. I'm watching all of those right now. They're getting weird.
God.
Through Seed of Chucky, it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just logic jumps in this thing that I didn't dig. I was like, her sister hates her for no reason.
Yeah.
One bad email ends the relationship. If you sent me an email saying all that stuff, I'd probably call you and be like, dude, what the hell? I
think that's the thing. I went to this, I'm like, I just want more invisible stuff going on. I don't care about all this drama. That not important.
I will say, Elizabeth Moss is the GOAT. She is
the best. So
good. I love her in everything I've ever seen her in.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Moss, please. I know she was on Mad Men and now she's doing Handmaid's Tale, so she's fine. She's working plenty. But
yes, between
this and Us, I was like, man, this is a scream queen in the making.
But she's the only person in this movie though who I will take away from it. I think they spent her budget on her.
It's like sitting there going, you also cast that guy from The Haunting of Hill House as the Invisible Man, but then you don't see him.
Yeah.
He's only in 2 scenes in the movie. And they like talk about like he was on set in a green suit for, but the rest of it, anytime it's not talking, it's just stunt. It's just stuntman. Oh, by
It's
the
a stuntman. Stunts.
way, stunts.
New movies need stunts.
Yeah, this has a couple good shots too. There's a couple really good oneers, which is
Mhm.
the one take shots, like the one where she first when she hits him with the paint and then chases him down the house, and that whole
Yeah.
kitchen where she's getting smashed into the walls and thrown over the table, and like that's a really good scene. And I watched the behind the scenes because I was like, that's probably a bunch of CGI, and it's not. She's on wires and there's
That's really cool, actually.
through the room.
Maybe I'd like the movie better if I looked up more about it afterwards.
Go,
Just in the moment.
yeah, no. I was the same way the first time I watched it. I was like, this is not nearly as good as I thought it was going to be. The scariest two moments are the opening scene and that one scene where she's on the deck and you see the breath behind her.
Yeah.
He's right there. Oh, no.
Right.
And they needed more of that tension. I think that they didn't play enough with the is he in the room or is he not in the room stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the sneakiest one of taking one of the movies we watched titles and making completely different movie. It's not The Invisible Man.
Oh,
It's no.
it's a remake, but it's not a remake, really. It's a whole new movie.
Yes.
Ending. I'll say I hate the ending of this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so stupid. The way this thing. I know that they wanted to end it on a whatever note, but I'm not going to spoil it right now. But I will tell you right now that I hate the ending of this movie.
Yeah, I hate the ending too.
Yeah. The other thing that the one scene though in this movie that makes me jump every time is that moment when they're talking and she's talking to her sister in the restaurant, and then the knife just goes whoosh, and like it's so fast, and you're just oh.
Which I'm glad because it's not. I guess that's the thing. It wasn't jump scary, which was nice for the most part. There are practical things.
It's a movie that I think needed to be slower. As weird as that is, like this kind of a movie needs more time to just really sit there. And I think you need a couple false. I think they needed a couple of false scares. Like he was in the room instantly.
Yeah.
I think you need a couple of those where she sees him or she thinks she hears something and it turns out to be, So you sort of see her start to convince herself like he's really gone. He's really gone. He's really gone. And then he's there.
Yeah.
And then you have like a moment where it's like, oh, I did like the stuff about like watching her go kind of crazy and that feeling of like nobody believes me, but I'm telling you is the truth.
But man, and that seems that's the new horror movie thing.
Yeah.
That's Hereditary. That's Babadook.
It Follows.
It Follows. Big one. Yeah.
A movie that does tension well. It Follows. Yeah. Yeah. This could have been better. I think they picked. I know Lee Whannell's like famous because he wrote the first Saw movie.
Yeah.
He made a couple other things, but I don't think he was the guy. And now he's doing the Wolfman too.
Oh no. Another
Gosling, the Wolfman again. We're gonna talk about the other Wolfman remake in a bit. Yeah, I think it has potential. I think it just was wasted potential. I think there's so much you could do with the Invisible Man that they didn't do.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it as much the second time.
Yeah. I got nothing. I ran out of thoughts and my brain just went away.
That's yeah. Yeah, no, it's yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil it because it is a newer movie, which is fine.
Yeah, there are. I will say this one. Maybe I'll put a spoiler wording because the movie's less than old, super old. But we've done.
Don't watch the trailer either because it will also spoil it.
The trailer spoils a lot, and the trailer will also make you think it's not the movie that it is.
Yeah.
Like if you want to go see it, just know it's not a horror film. It's not that scary. It doesn't play like a horror film. It's a sci-fi thriller. End of story.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Sweet.
Nothing.
Number 6.
Number 6. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes. Wolfman.
Oh shit.
Oh. Did you put? Oh no.
For me. Mine.
I just hate Wolfman for some reason.
Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Okay.
So they put the Wolfman. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh, this is gonna be real.
I think I just don't like the Wolfman character because I put it on the bottom of the last one.
Okay, let me find my Wolfman notes. I have some. This one, I think the first time I saw it when it came out, I didn't like it as much, and then this time I was like, this one's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Where the heck are my notes? Oh, I watched it before Frankenstein. That's why. There we go.
Okay.
I want to say this movie has perfect casting, and why I say that is because Benicio del Toro looks like a person perpetually turning into a wolf.
Yeah, there's that.
Guy who's like, I'm slowly turning. The whole regardless of when he is. This movie has Anthony Hopkins, who I wrote in my notes as A-Hop, so now we're gonna call him A-Hop.
A-Hop sounds good.
A-Hop. So we say A-Hop. That's who we're talking about. Yeah, it does. This one's a better remake than The Invisible Man.
Yeah,
obviously.
This is a remake. This is a
solid cast. It's got Del Toro. It's got A-Hop. It's got Hugo Weaving, Emily Blunt's in this movie. A couple of who I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't think it's perfect. I will say, by and large, the older movies are better than the newer movies, with a couple exceptions.
Well, I prefer this one to the original. I do for a lot of it. But one of the big things is that Benicio del Toro is not happy, even at the start of the movie. So when he gets this curse upon him, I'm like, he's still not happy. He never was happy. What is it? Just kill him.
It's a real bad month. This is Benicio living 2020. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah, I think he's okay in it, though, like performance-wise. I understand that, he doesn't have anything that he loses, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's an actor. He's like a famous stage actor. His brother dies from a wolf mauling.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I really like that they changed. I'm going to spoil this one because I have to. I like that they made the original wolf his dad.
Yes.
And not somebody else. Because I think that raises the stakes of the movie. Because suddenly it's like, oh, wait. I've been spending this whole time trying to kindle this relationship with you, only to find out you're the reason that everything's going wrong for me.
Yes. But then it leads to one of the weirdest fights in film history.
It's like one kid took two action figures and just went...
Yeah, I have a Hannibal Lecter toy, and I can't remember his name where he plays the bat.
Then with the collector from Guardians,
just something, just smashing them together.
4 from The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's 3. I think it's actually 3. I can't remember. I think it's the tall one in the middle. Doesn't matter. That's not a movie.
Doesn't matter. That is a good twist. It's a little goofy though.
I think it has its. This is the thing. Every time I watched it, I was like, it has a moment where I like it, and then a moment where I just said no. I could take it or leave it right now.
Yeah.
Overall, I really liked it this time though, and I thought that the plot stuff and the stuff where he's in love with his sister-in-law and Hugo Weaving as the detective, kind of chasing him the whole time. I thought was really interesting.
And that's spoilers again. I do like the ending with that character. Maybe I'm not going to say what happens, but
if you're following what movie we're talking about, it might be obvious.
It might be obvious.
Spoilers. I'm gonna have to put spoilers in this one because we're going through a lot of these.
I didn't like the wolf effect super much. CGI is a little. I wish it was more practical.
Here's what I want: a Wolfman transformation that's like the Fly.
Yeah.
Transforms in the Fly. I think that they need to do that with the Wolfman. I did like how it kind of beefed up the OG makeup, though. Like, it feels like you can tell the stuff that they definitely paid homage to with the original, but they made their own. I also don't know why I just loved the big scary dog that they had. That's not irrelevant to anything. I like this dog.
He likes dogs. You're a dog guy now.
Okay, I've been a dog guy.
You have a dog now.
Even when I was like terrified of them, I was like, fuck cats. Well, and a musical.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. It's just shit on Andrew Weather Days.
Watched that movie.
You did have to watch that movie.
Fantastic.
That's it.
That's what I'm going to say to that.
Oh.
And the design on this one feels like the old ones. It feels like they took their time and made it real big and spectacular, and then didn't just slap together a couple of small rooms that they redecorated.
Yeah, I did like the setting. I think once again, it's a lot with these remakes. It's too long. Yep. There's some stuff in it that that the old movies luckily just kind of moved it along at times.
That whole subplot where he goes to the mental hospital.
Yeah, that I didn't need
to reveal that his dad was the other wolf. I will say though that A-Hop can make bad dialogue sound like Shakespeare. That dude is the best.
The goat. He's the goat of
2 goats now. We need an Elizabeth Moss, E-Moss, and A-Hop.
Yeah.
In something. I don't care what it is. He just did King Lear. It was really good.
Oh, I meant to see that.
Yeah. Girl from Midsummer.
Do it.
Yeah.
I bet that's awesome, actually.
Yes.
Did you say you're number 6?
Yeah, it's Dracula.
All right, you said it.
I'm gonna say my one note and then we'll transition, because my theory in this is that the priest, because he seems weirdly petrified of werewolves the whole time, is a vampire.
Okay.
To the vampire.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's true. Hey, more guys.
I know.
I love parts of this, and I really don't like other parts of this. Coppola, who, if you've ever heard of The Godfather, he's the guy made Dracula in the 90s. He plays Dracula. He's fantastic. A-Hop plays Van Helsing. He's fantastic. Keanu Reeves plays Jonathan Harker. He is a disaster.
He's trying. I have a little love for him after reading the interview where somebody said he was just trying way too hard. I'm like, okay, but
everything, and it just I know where the bastard sleeps. I brought him there. And him, I don't like him, and I don't like Winona Ryder either.
Yeah.
Really wet blankety in this, which she's not in other stuff. I don't know when the transition went from Winona being like decent to Winona being like, okay, Winona Ryder's in this movie.
I know. Some things. I found the movie, I don't know, a little tone deaf. The set, it's kind of like the old movie. I'm like, the sets are a little the same.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
The two things I think work really well. I mean, Oldman and Hopkins. I was like, I just want those two. I get everybody else out of this movie and just watch those two guys.
I think that's why I got it higher on my list. Is mainly because of those two guys.
Yeah. That's why it's lower. It's because they're like the only two things, and the makeup job for all of them.
Yeah.
Dracula's got about 6 different looks in this, and they all look really cool.
Yeah.
The only one that's uncomfortable is the scene where he's doing stuff with Lucy and he's in that Wolfman suit, and it looks like it's having sex with somebody.
Yeah.
But no, he looks cool as the Bat Creature. He looks cool as the old Count, the new Count. Mm-hmm. And they take stuff from the Bela Lugosi one stylistically that they don't, without feeling like they're like ripping it off.
Yeah. And I know we talked about it on the last one, but this one does have too many characters.
Yes. Book, but they Renfield is in this movie for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's in this movie. And I think, again, like the Mary Shelley Frankenstein, I think this one is very close to the book.
Yeah. I think I watched the thing that was like comparing all the movies to the book, and this was the closest.
Close. And the problem is because it's trying too much in too amount of time. If you're gonna, the thing that I've read that is if you do a movie based on a book, it should be a short story. Like Stand By Me is a short story based on a Stephen King short story, and it works because that's all there is.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, you need a series of movies or like a mini series, as something long like. And I don't know why no one's done a Frankenstein, Dracula, Jekyll and Hyde like mini series, because I think that those would work a lot better.
Yeah.
But good God, it just there's like four dudes who you don't need, and you don't remember a fucking one of them, except Cary Elwes, because he's Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
Um,
And I find anything weird when Tom Waits is around.
an interesting choice.
Yeah.
It was a
I wouldn't say it was terrible. It's Tom Waits is already weird, you know that.
This movie too, it does a good job of being creepy. Like the first one didn't feel creepy; it felt hokey. This one feels like creepy.
A little creepy, yeah.
Yeah, and the sets help that. I think the asylum set is really cool. I like the way they set it up with the sort of arena tiered cages, and that scene where the rain's coming in, everybody's breaking out. Like is really cool.
Yeah.
Here's the problem too. I had with this. This movie is 2.5 hours long. Van Helsing doesn't show up until about halfway through that, and the movie's really boring up until that point.
Yeah. I talked about that. I think I was getting, after watching the thing about how this is more like the book, I was kind of fascinated by the Dracula story, but I see that when you say that, I know exactly what you mean.
Better. And if you've ever read the book is in a series of like letters and notes, which they kind of do in the movie.
Yeah.
But you don't get everything. You don't get all the in-between stuff. So you hear like Harker describing what it's like to be at the castle, and then he stops, and then you're like, wait a minute, what happened to Jonathan?
Yeah.
Is he dead? Is he alive? Where? And the movie does a less good job of sort of showing that, of like him getting freakier and more and more freaked out, and then suddenly vanishing. Like when he's not there, you're like, he's probably still fine. Like,
Yeah.
fine. And Dracula's gone, so obviously he's not gonna get eaten again, even if the brides. And I don't understand. I know the brides of Dracula are a thing, but they show up for like one scene and then they're gone.
Yeah.
They don't do anything else.
No, there's some pointless filler that I think he was trying maybe sometimes too hard. It's just he's trying to really do the book justice.
Well, and if you ever watched the Patrick Williams video about these, basically this is a year after Silence of the Lambs came out and won every Oscar that it was up for. And I think that this was a thing where a bunch of prestige directors went, wait a minute, we could win Oscars making horror movies. So
that's the dream.
Yeah.
I like imagining every director really wants to make that horror movie, but they know like their career will be like in shambles.
That's how I'd start, man. Just this is the thing: if you can make them good. But they try to make them like award-worthy prestige pictures, and they're like, no, it's a story about a guy who like eats people.
Yeah.
And it has some of that romance gothic stuff, but I don't like the Mina and Dracula are like destined love. They're like Hawkman and Hawkwoman, where they always find each other.
I don't understand these movies, any Dracula movie, where we try to care about him loving this woman and they try to push us on. It's a lot of Dracula things where I'm like, just let him be a vampire and do things.
Yeah, I think that's where the first one works so damn well. It's because it's like, I mean, I didn't like it a whole lot either, but it just says, nah, forget the romance. He just eats people. That's
I just want another wife is what it seems like to me. It's like it's gonna add to my collection.
And we'll talk about the movie that's higher on both of our lists that does that one with Dracula.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else. No, I just think it tries too hard. It goes too big. It doesn't subtly do anything.
Yeah.
And it's propped up really entirely on the backs of the two guys who are running this movie, which are old men. Guys, this is one of Gary Oldman's best performances, like start to finish. I don't see him as sexy, and that scene where they're like, you're like, no,
he's not.
Al with a mustache.
No. And it's a good Anthony Hopkins performance. It's not even like in my top 5, but he's who he is.
Anthony Hopkins performances, man, is like there are so many. I mean, you can pick 30 movies. Oh, hi, Dodie. Treat, so he's been munching on it in the bed. Sounded dirty. I shouldn't have said it. I know Hopkins is. I mean, A-Hop is fantastic. Like everything he does. I mean, Hannibal Lecter is probably his best role,
Yeah.
but
And my
I,
favorite's Westworld, but that's not a movie.
yeah, he's also really good in that. I mean, he's good in. I've seen bad movies that he shows up in, and I'm like, hey,
There it is.
it's better. Yeah. So, but yeah, Dracula. I mean, and again, it's the same kind of thing where it's like I didn't loathe this movie. This wasn't the Mummy.
Yeah.
This wasn't the old Mummy, but I did not like enough of it to rank it lower than other stuff.
See, this is good because okay, I was gonna move on. This is my number 5 is Dracula, so I'm glad they're close.
My 5 is The Invisible Man, so
Okay.
just skip right up to 4, baby.
Or wait, well, no, mine's Phantom.
Four's Phantom.
Yeah.
Mine's Van Helsing.
Oh yay!
So let's talk Van Helsing.
Good.
Oh, Van Helsing.
I think this list is gonna be better than the other one. Like as far
I'm gonna tell you, you put a movie really low that I haven't said yet. And
I forgot.
Van Helsing is essentially one guy read all these books and just went, I'm gonna make all of them at the same time. It's about Hugh Jackman, who plays Gabriel Van Helsing, not Abraham Van Helsing, different guy.
Different guy.
Called Gabriel because he's like, find out in the movie he's like the archangel Gabriel reincarnated on Earth. And he hunts monsters, among whom include Dracula, who has recruited Dr. Frankenstein to build a monster to summon babies.
Yeah.
And he also has a werewolf.
Yes.
And then there's some other characters who show
And Sheckled is at the beginning.
yeah.
We didn't even. Yeah.
Well, Hyde is at the beginning. Jekyll is
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Jekyll's there for like a split second.
Yeah. They're going hide.
It does a good the first 5 minutes of this where they do the black and white flashback and it kind of alludes to all of the other Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And they do the way they introduce Dracula where he's sort of teleporting around the room is really creepy.
Yeah.
And Richard Roxburgh, who plays Dracula, and he was also the bad guy in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which happened about the same time.
That's the same guy.
Guy.
Oh my god! I didn't even know.
Yeah, and he
He picked like the same movie.
he plays Dracula. Now he's both the Phantom of the Opera and Moriarty because that's how they.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, he's Dracula, and they do that thing where they every time the camera moves, he's in a different spot in the room, and he's like walking on the ceilings and the walls, and this is the first time of all the ones we've watched where Dracula comes out, and I'm like, that's scary. That dude's
Yeah.
scary.
This might be my favorite Dracula of the ones. I mean, Gary Oldman does great, but like as a scary, I'm gonna eat you kind of guy.
Yeah, this one's real good. I'm sorry for all the chewy noises that are happening right here. Maybe I can turn this down.
All right, you're right.
I also like, and this is gonna sound weird, I like that they made Van Helsing medieval Batman.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with this movie, and I know you obviously ranked it higher than I did, so you have similar thoughts. They just said, screw logic, it's just a badass action film.
Yeah.
I think why we both like it is that's fun.
It's just fun. That's what I wrote down. This is the funnest of probably all of them.
Yeah.
If you want to go and watch something just goofy,
Mm-hmm.
it might be one that's more fun. But I love it. Right from my favorite scene is when the wives come to attack him the first time, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's just nostalgic. I remember that scene because I watched this movie like a billion times for some reason.
Yeah. And I love the casting of Kate Beckinsale, even though her accent is atrocious.
Terrible.
A couple lines where she says things, and I'm like, I don't know what she just said. And I put on the subtitles, and I was like, those are not the words that came out of her mouth. David Benham as the friar is funny. And I love his whole, like, I'm not a priest yet. I'm just a friar, so I do what I want. Damn it. Yeah, and I think it, like, this is, as I call it, a shut your brain off movie. Like, if you watch it thinking, like, I'm going to watch a classic cinematic masterpiece, you're going to be disappointed. But if you're like, I'm going to watch a stupid action movie that involves vampires and wolves, I'm going to have so much fun.
It is probably the worst Frankenstein Like, it's way too much.
He's blue.
Yeah, he's blue.
Bits that are glowing and things. I do like the performance.
Yes.
Really smart. And he's the first monster that you empathize with, like, completely. You're like
Yeah.
a victim in this situation entirely.
Yeah.
And then the relationship of for him and Frankenstein, who's only in the movie for the first little scene, is really good too. It show that they like the doctor actually cares about his creation before being horrified.
Yeah.
My favorite Wolfman look.
Yeah.
Like these things, like they look doggish and the big, you know, the way that they move and the sort of ferocious hybrid that they found for this. I was like, this is how they should look in everything.
And this movie, out of all of them, has my favorite how we defeat Dracula. I love the ending to this movie.
Was I called the longest 12 seconds ever?
Yeah.
This and the 13 scene from Galaxy Quest. I always time them because I'm always
How long was it?
actually gone. And that's Galaxy Quest is about a minute and a half. This
Okay.
7 minutes.
Oh my god.
That I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait, these are 12 seconds.
That bit in the middle where he turns back into Van Helsing and then back into the werewolf. Helsing's the werewolf, spoilers.
Yes.
And then they do and then they have the subtle Wolverine joke, which is the best.
Yes.
And the claws come out and you're just like, yes.
I mean, no. Actually, when you look this up on IMDb, the first like picture is just like the Hugh Jackman like Wolverine. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
It made me wish though that David Wyndham, who plays Carl, that's the name of the guy, was in more things. He had like the weirdest acting career. Was like Lord of the Rings, this 300, nothing. Like,
And he showed up in Iron Fist.
oh, okay, he's an Iron Fist. I never saw it.
Good.
Okay.
He's okay in it, but it's not. No, that's not one you need to see.
Got it.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is this movie's fun, and you have to give it that. I also like the way that they transformed Dracula into like the super Dracula, where his cloak sort of flips up into his wings. And, yeah, and he still feels like himself, and the CGI holds up better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he was dude.
He's so cute though.
I know.
Now that I love the look of this movie. I wish there was sequels, but
yeah,
can't really and stuff.
I understand why there wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I did very well, and I think that it kind of didn't. I don't know what the next. You've already killed 4 of the biggest monsters.
That's the thing.
Like, what would the next story be?
You gotta fight the Invisible Man.
Well, man, that's the one. Is in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's the next movie.
Oh God.
I was gonna say Weathermen in Transylvania must be paid very well because it's all. It's like they're predicting. Guys are always depending on when's the moon gonna change, when's lightning gonna happen, when is it gonna rain. And it has some fun sort of steampunky stuff. He's got his like pump action buzzsaws and the sun grenade and the crossbow.
A lot of weird things.
Yeah.
It's that it feels like modern day. If I was to prepare for a vampire attack, like I'd be like, I'm gonna go all out.
And I will say too, the only real issue I had is that Dracula's plan makes no sustainable sense.
None.
You're saying that they feed on about 3 people a month, usually. You're about to unleash 100 babies on this village.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Daybreakers? I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No.
Okay. Is it Daybreak? Maybe it's not. Yeah, it's Daybreak. I think it's Daybreakers. Basically, it's vampires at the end of the vampire taking over the world thing. So they're running out of food because they.
Oh, I've seen the poster and stuff. Yeah.
That's what I'm like. That's what's gonna happen. Is like they don't have enough people to sustain themselves.
Yeah.
You know, especially if I don't know how often they have to like consume somebody, but it will not last.
Oh God. Oh.
It does feel like this is what I said. It feels like a teenage boy was at an old movie house, saw the posters for Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and went home and wrote a fan fiction.
Yeah,
And they made that into a movie.
that's it. So I'm gonna put this on my. If anybody's listening to this, this is the one I suggest you watch for fun.
If you're gonna watch one of these and you just want to like have a good time, this is.
Just want to think.
I don't know if I'd say this is the one I'd have them watch. I think there's one more that I would.
I think I know which one you're thinking too.
That's about the same.
Yeah. Okay. We definitely know there's only one other. Okay.
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 That was Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Oh, that's good.
And we are on to number 3. I picked Shape of Water.
Okay, good. Because number 3 is Van Helsing for me.
Great, perfect, yeah. So we'll talk about Shape of Water. Based on the creature from the Black Lagoon. Not based on, inspired by.
Inspired.
Del Toro did say it was inspired by. This is Guillermo del Toro, not Benicio del Toro. So if I say Del Toro, I'm talking about the same guy.
And when I was writing my notes and thinking about what I was going to say today, I kept thinking that I was getting one of them wrong because like they can't be two Del Toros.
Nope, they are not related, but they are. I think this is our first Best Picture winner.
Yes, I think so too.
Won Best Picture in 2017. It is gorgeous. This is probably the best looking movie of all of them.
That is actually my biggest thing about it is how every set has like a style or a color and looks amazing.
Yeah, and I will say too, the cast. This is a cast of like way underrated actors. It's just like a who's who of people that you've seen and you know are good but have not gotten enough recognition. You have Octavia Spencer, you have Sally Hawkins, you have Richard Jenkins, you have Michael Shannon, you have Doug Jones, you have Michael Stuhlbarg, and then a couple other people, and it's just like top to bottom. I was like, this is every B-lister that I want in a movie.
This is the movie when like it won Best Picture. I felt like the two, Sally Hawkins and Michael Shannon, got robbed nominations.
Yeah, they both did.
Yeah, those are my two performances of that year even.
Jones playing the fish man.
Yeah.
That dude needs a special Oscar when he's like...
For something.
Yeah, because, I mean, he has been in so much stuff, and you've never seen him. I will tell you this. If you have watched Pan's Labyrinth, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Hellboy, either of the Del Toro Hellboys...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think he shows up in one episode of The Flash as himself. Like, he's actually...
Oh, guy. He's in What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
He's the Baron.
He's my favorite part of that whole show.
The Baron. Yeah. No, he's fantastic. He's one of the go-to Hollywood creature actors. And if you've never seen anything with him, you should go watch it because the way he moves and the way he can communicate without saying a word is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he plays this fish man who is the design of this thing is pretty cool. And it looks like I can see allusions to the creature from the Black Lagoon, but it doesn't look quite as goofy.
Yeah. I think it's weird to me though. Like this movie is it's even higher up on my list. Even though it's my 4th favorite Del Toro film, there are 3 above it that I like more.
I think it's my 3rd. I think
3rd. You probably don't like Pacific Rim as much as I do.
I've got Pan's Labyrinth and the second Hellboy.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
Other Hellboy's like right below it, and then I've seen almost all of Del Toro's stuff. I think I've only seen.
He hasn't done super much.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, this cat.
I thought that was your dog.
Hold on a sec. I gotta get up because this cat he just sits by the door and he won't stop mewing until I let him out.
Okay. Second. I'm just gonna undo something. Go on. What?
$5 says that in 20 minutes that cat will be back at the door wanting to be let back in.
Yeah.
Goes outside, he walks around for 20 minutes, and then he comes back. And sometimes when it was raining, it was very funny because he was like sitting there at the door, like, I want to go out. And I was like, no, you don't. And he goes, I'm going to go out. And I let him out, and I shut the door, and I turn around, and he's pawing at the door. I can't even sweat.
That's so great.
This movie redefines the term "sleeping with the fishes."
No, you spoiled the movie.
Oh yeah. And I love that Sally Hawkins. They made her basically that every character in this movie has a deformity
Yeah.
or an issue of some sort. You have Sally Hawkins who's mute. She's not deaf. She's mute, so she signs things.
Yeah.
Richard Jenkins is gay in the '60s, which is not something you do.
Yeah.
What's his name? Michael No, the other one, Stuhlbarg.
Oh shoot, Michael.
I think it's Stuhlbarg.
The doctor. Yeah.
He's a Russian double agent. Octavia Spencer's like in a bad marriage. Like they're all. And government facility that has this fish dude.
Yeah. And actually, that's why the movie isn't higher on my list. It has a little too much. When I first watched this, I had to rewatch it again because I forgot like what everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many. I know Del Toro's trying to say a lot about racism, like just like gay.
Yeah.
Not thinking outside the box, but it was a lot to take in the first time I saw it in theater.
I think the point of it is you have all these people who have these issues and they're like sort of out of place. Mm-hmm. And they all find acceptance through this fish creature.
That makes sense.
Through the magic fish man.
Which is weird to think now I think about it, who kind of is the one person who knows his place.
Yeah. As screwed up as it is, I'm going to say the best shot scene in this movie is the one where she and him are in the bathroom and the water's filled up and they're just floating together. And I know that they're doing it. But gorgeous to look at, and they don't show anything.
I like that, and I love the shot when Michael Shannon goes to go take care of the double agent in the rain, because that's the one that I think a lot of rain shots in movies just suck, and this one's so clear and like
God, and that scene where he grabs him by the
that's the most painful thing out of all these movies with like terrible stuff. That's the most painful.
His whole I'm gonna use all the bad sex metaphors for this. This movie has the dream, which is a magic fish man gives you gills. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
It's literally it.
And I also like how every movie about underwater things has underwater credits. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh yeah.
Muppet Treasure Island. They all.
It's like we built the system. We have to use it. Like.
They also do a really cool thing where they use a lot of fisheye shots. They're not like actual fisheyes. That lens that looks like you're looking through a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Where like the thing right here is really big, and then everything aside from it is like getting weirdly smaller at a bad angle. But it uses similar, a subtler version of that, and it actually is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie, I mean, of this 8 we watched, this one looks the best.
Yeah.
Before.
I think, although now that I know it's based on Creature from Black Lagoon, it makes sense because it is the most tame Del Toro monster. Mm-hmm. I forgot what it looked like until I rewatched it this time, like, because it is just that it's just like a fish.
No, it's
not bad.
I love the scene. This movie, I think a lot of other movies should watch this one to learn how to tell a story without words. Because I don't think at it. I think that that's something that movies think that you need to just keep making a lot of sound all the time. And this one takes its time, and it really just lets them like non-verbally interact.
And it's not too long. It's not too long.
Feels a little long to me. I think that's why it's a little lower on my list.
Okay.
Yeah. Among a couple other things. But yeah, it's super good. Like if you want to, I'm gonna say of the 8 again, this one quality wise is probably the best one. And this is one of the few Best Picture winners that I was like, I think that should win, and it did.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, exactly. It's actually one of the only ones in the past like 10 years.
3 in the past decade that I should win in one. But this is the one that I didn't think was gonna win because I think it was up against a lot of actual like prestige pictures, and then I was like, what?
I don't know though. The Oscars shocked me this year too. So
yeah, and I called it called it from a mile away, and everybody was like, nah, they're gonna give it to the war movie. And
They didn't. Although that was still really good. But shoot, I got anything else to say on this one?
Geriatric fish heist. That's
Oh, it is. That actually, I forgot to say that. I love the fact that the movie has a heist theme in
the middle
of the thing.
Movie. It's like a weird It's like Del Toro watched Free Willy and said, I can do this better.
I can do it better.
It is. I mean, it's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it is up there. It is among the best sci-fi fantasy films. I think it's the first fantasy film to win Best Picture since Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's great. It's
good.
It's super fun. It's very pretty. And everybody should if you want to watch a fun movie, Van Helsing. If you want to watch a good movie, Shape of Water.
Yeah. So Shape of Water is my number 2.
Mine is The Wolfman.
Oh, we have the same number 1. Oh, I'm so happy.
This is what I thought was really interesting about my list.
Yeah.
Number 1 is for both of us is The Mummy.
It's The Mummy.
Or Mummy. The Mummy and Frankenstein were 1 and 8 on my list, and in this they're still 8, but they went like
flipped. Which makes sense. I think that's how we ended the list at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then I thought about The Mummy, the original, and went, I can't remember anything besides the first scene.
This one has a couple really little illusions. And this one I think is also a remake.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the... So, now that we've seen it, Wolfman is a remake, Invisible Man is a remake, and this is a remake.
Yes.
Everything else is either an allusion to, inspired by...
Has a character.
Thing is its own thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So The Mummy was a 99 movie. It's got Brendan Fraser. It's got... I would say Kate Beckinsale. That's Van Helsing. Rachel Weisz and Arnold Vosloo as the Mummy. And first, to get a guy who's actually got Middle Eastern descent to play the Mummy.
Yes.
Spot on.
And he after rewatching this is actually like my favorite cast. They casted him perfect for this movie.
Good. I mean, I've seen him in a few things, and he owns this role. And I think I will say I like the second one better.
Second Mummy?
Mummy. I
don't remember it.
That's the one in London, and he's trying to resurrect his bride.
That's right. Yeah.
I think I like that one better. But this one's really fun.
Yes.
I wrote down, I was like, I'm 2 minutes into the prologue, and I'm already having more fun than the last Mummy.
And I know this is probably the biggest nostalgia out of all of them.
Yeah, and I for any kid who grew up in the 90s, this movie's just this was our Indiana Jones.
Yes, it really was.
And when I made the joke in the old movie and the last one of they should do Indiana Jones does the Mummy. They did. It's this
Mummy. And I know it can be over top at the time, but that was the style.
And I think they just were real smart in going, we're gonna just not do anything with the old Mummy. We're gonna basically throw out most of that and just make an action adventure film centered around this Mummy.
Yes.
The way that they designed him to sort of come back slowly, and how they show him come back. It's not like the first one where he's just there.
He's just there. He's just hanging out. He's having a good time.
Yeah, this is great. He's great. And like I said, Vosloo's for perfectness. Brendan Fraser is probably the best he is in anything in this movie.
Made me miss him so much.
D&D character based on Rick O'Connell.
Yeah.
Just a shoot first, ask questions later kind of dude, but he's not an idiot.
Yeah. And a lot of these effects still hold up really well for them.
Yeah. I don't think it hold up as well as Van Helsing.
As well, yeah.
But it is good. This one does comedy jump scares, which I love. I want more of those. I want more people jump, but you don't jump. You just laugh because it's hysterical.
I think that's the charm of this movie. I think that's why it became number 1, is because I could just sit here and watch this and have so much fun and know that like they were trying to scare me. Sometimes it's just not happening.
All right, fun double casting because we've been talking about people who show up.
Yeah.
He from this movie is Igor in Van Helsing.
Oh.
No,
I did
because
not.
Igor looks like he's been beaten to death.
Yeah.
Same actor. Because they're directed by the same guy.
Oh, that really that they're like the same feeling. Oh my gosh.
Two fun ones make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes me long for more movies that are like this. We don't get this anymore.
I was like, there was a point though in the middle of it when I was watching when they start the plagues coming in because the mummy's like curses the plagues and I was like, wasn't the plagues God?
Yeah.
So the mummy is. Hold on.
Unless we thought that maybe you just maybe just a coincidence that happened at the same time.
No, yeah. This does. If you are a diehard biblical text person, it might offend you.
You'll hate it.
It's got some stuff and some biblical. It tries to be like Bible and mummies. Yeah, there's that one book in the Bible that does stuff with Egypt. That's
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot. And I love how Brendan Fraser's character the whole time is just like, "Yep, this is crazy. This is why are we doing this? That's an idea."
You know, and I have a thing. I was trying to figure out why Brendan Fraser was such a big name because he's not the greatest actor. I know that in my head, but I think it's because he kind of has the Keanu Reeves. We talked about earlier, it was terrible, but he is more of an everyman. When he's in action movies, like that could be me.
Not an everyman look. He's like a slightly like if I worked out more.
Yeah, if I put a little more effort, I could be Brendan Fraser.
Really good in that the couple episodes of Scrubs though.
Yeah.
I won't tell you which ones because you'll know. But
Cool.
those are ones that yeah. No, he works really well in this, and then Rachel Weisz has a good sort of similar quality as a woman. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't feel too out of place ever.
Mm-hmm.
But she also doesn't feel like she's like,
I was trying to figure out where I've seen her from. I've only seen her in this, and I think The Lobster. It's like the only two movies.
Lobster. She's in a couple other things.
Like,
I can't remember exactly what she's married to Daniel Craig.
oh, okay.
That's your fun fact for the day.
Ooh.
Married to James Bond. No, I love the sand face. I think we need more sand face, and we need more camels. Camels in movies are always good.
More stuff. We need more desert. I love movies that are filmed in deserts.
This one's great. Sahara's great. They're all like mediocre, not super.
That's the thing. I was thinking, oh shoot, what's it called? It's based on the video game.
Oh.
Sands of Time. Yeah.
Prince of Persia is not great. Con Air is
They're good to look at. Like I want to be in the desert.
something like Lawrence of Arabia is probably the one that everyone's like, that's actually a good movie. That's
yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of notes on this one. I just liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Usually I don't take as many notes on the ones I like because I just sit there and I watch them and I'm like, this is good. I enjoy.
Good movie.
Yeah, good. A+ job. Nice job, movie. I forgot to write things down.
So.
Yeah, and the way that the mummy regains his humanity is terrifying. I will say this mummy is really scary.
Yeah.
Like this is probably one of the scarier monsters in the group.
That's the thing. Finally, a scary mummy. Like I don't. There aren't many because the mummy idea is not the scariest in general. Like
the mummy idea is just a decaying dead person wrapped in stuff, and they've actually. I learned it. The 50s did a mummy movie where he's wrapped up in the bandages. That's where that came from. Because I thought it was from the 30s, but it's not. I think it was. I don't know if it was Hammer Films or if it was another Universal thing, but they did that. Yeah, but no, the Mummy's the best. It's like top to bottom. It's fun. It makes sense. It's not too ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's again, I said no. By no means the best movie I've ever seen.
You'll love it. You will love it.
And then you watch the second one, which stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in his like first ever role, and go what?
That CGI does not hold up.
Not hold up. think that's in the top 5 like worst CGI scenes ever
Oh God.
for a movie that had a budget as much as it did. But we're not talking about Mummy 2. We're talking about the first one.
How are we gonna rank these? I'm glad that the top one's good.
We're just gonna probably have to bump Wolfman down a couple spots. So the bottom's obviously done. We have Frankenstein at the bottom.
Bring it to the bottom. Good.
The Invisible Man. I think I can push Invisible Man down to number 7. I don't mind doing that.
What did you have it? I didn't write down your stuff.
Phantom at 7.
Okay.
I think if
I
we
can.
Invis to 7 and put Phantom at 6.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
And then
I think I'm finding a soft spot for Phantom lately. I'm one of those moods. So.
one of those moods. We can, because of where. So then if we put Dracula at 5 and the Wolfman at 4, which is like a split the difference between where I put it and where you put it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Drac, you, the Wolfman, and then Van Helsing, Shape of Water, and the Mummy.
Yeah. I really expected to like both Dracula's movies more. or a Dracula movie in general.
I'm trying to think. There's one.
There's got to be a good one out there.
Really good. I've seen a stage show. That's really
the book.
Also like the best book of those books. It's the easiest one to read of the.
Yeah. I couldn't get through. I tried to start Frankenstein, and it's wordy.
It's hard to read if you're not. And I'm sure that I know you don't like reading as much as I do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's final ranking.
All ranking.
At 8, we have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
That's actually the one I say don't watch.
We wish we hadn't had to.
Yeah.
This is the only one that got worse the second time I watched it. 7 is The Invisible Man, the new one. 6. Here's the thing: if you want to watch an Invisible Man movie, go watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Has a better Invisible Man.
We should have done that.
6 is Phantom of the Opera. I have nothing to say on that.
I'm nothing. It's just. It's okay.
It's fine.
There are better musicals and there are better movies.
Better musicals, there are better movies, and there are better versions of Phantom you can watch.
Yes, a lot.
5 is Dracula. Here's the thing. This one's probably the best Dracula, and I can't
think of another one.
So obviously we need to go make a good Dracula movie.
Yeah.
4 is The Wolfman. It's fun. It's dumb. It will make you think that a child slammed action figures together for the fight scenes.
Maybe someday I'll like Wolfman. Maybe I'll learn to love the Wolfman.
We should do American Werewolf in London someday. So then you watch a movie that's because I've heard that's what they say is the best werewolf.
Because my favorite wolf movie at the moment is still, they meet the Wolfman. What's it called?
Abbott and Costello.
Hotel Meet the Wolfman is still my top favorite Wolfman movie.
There's one with Jack Nicholson from like the 90s that's supposed to be okay.
I want to give that a shot.
Yeah. Van Helsing is number 3. Super fun. Yes. The Shape of Water is number 2. For high quality.
Yes.
Let's say if I'm gonna recommend one, go watch that one.
Yeah.
And number 1 is The Mummy because it's The Mummy.
It's The Mummy, and we're nostalgic.
We did it. We didn't kill each other over these. I will put both. I have both lists on my Letterboxd account. I'm going to put them in order, and I'll have that also in the thingy, which I always do. I don't know if anyone knows that. I put a link to all the movies we've watched in the thingy. But if you haven't, next time we have a super special fun deal for you. We are doing our second collaboration episode, not with somebody who lives with one of us.
Yes.
Good friend, Mr. Retroactive. If you haven't checked out his channel, I'll put a link to him so you can see his stuff. We're going to do a collaboration between him, and we're going to talk about some of his favorite movies. And then after that, it's almost time for somebody's birthday, or as I like to call it, Nate tortures me for a while month.
I'm going to make him watch the Emoji Movie. Because I can do what I want.
I want to see you go for a hike with that bottle.
Oh god, I'm gonna spit back into it. Okay.
I don't think we have anything else. Yeah, and so those will be coming out probably early to mid-November, and then we'll celebrate Nate's birthday over a few weeks up until Christmas, and then Christmas we'll do something.
Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Well, do you have the quote this time? Because I did not have it last time.
Quote. You had it. It was bad.
It was really bad.
What did I just watch today? Oh no, I can't say the one from that. I've been watching a lot of bad slasher movies. Okay, I got one. Here we go. It's not from any of the movies we watched, but it's close. It's It Could Vac.
That's an even better one.
Young Frankenstein.
I'm just glad. I told Lola, I said, I'm glad you didn't make me watch The New Mummy. I thought that was going to happen.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have made you do that. Movie. The Dark Universe thing. Yeah. Young Frankenstein. If you're going to watch a Frankenstein movie, people either watch the old one or watch Young Frankenstein.
They're both really good.
Much better than this one. That's all we got, folks. I will see you later.